What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be looking at the best and worst picks of day one of the 2022 Major League Baseball draft. We're going to be highlighting some of the best picks and some of the picks that I was just like, not a big fan. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn notifications. And let's go ahead and get into this video. Let's start off with the best picks. Let's start off with the bright spots of the picks of day one. Starting off with number 18 overall, Cam Collier, third baseman out of Chipotle Junior College, one of the best junior college programs there is in the junior college world. But Cam Collier, I really think is going to be a really good player. He's very similar to Rafael Devers at just the young age of 17 years old, committed to Louisville. It's interesting to see if maybe he will end up going there to Louisville. But Collier fell a little bit in this draft, 18, and he's a top 5 talent in my opinion. He should have went top 5 in my opinion, if not top 5, top 10 for sure. And I'm really surprised the Mets passed up on him at like 14. I'm a little surprised. But Cam Collier to the Reds, I was a big fan of this pick. Great pick by the Cincinnati Reds. The Major League team's not been doing a lot right, but they did draft a really good player in Cam Collier, 18th overall. Next up, let's head to the compensation rounds, where we're going to look at the round one compensation. And instead of, I think this was their compensation for Trevor Story, with the 38th overall pick, the Colorado Rockies went with Jordan Beck, outfielder from Tennessee. And Jordan Beck playing in Coors Field is scary to me. I think that this is a guy that has 30 home run or more potential, with playing in Coors Field, which is going to help him out with a few home runs, of course. But this is a guy that has some pretty good power, and he's 6'3", 225. This is a guy with some good power, and playing in Coors Field is only going to help him with that power. Jordan Beck is a guy that to watch out for. Should have been a first-rounder. Good pick, for sure. Next up, let's head to Minnesota in the second round with the 48th overall pick. They went with left-hander Connor Prelip, left-hander out of Alabama. Connor Prelip definitely is not very experienced at all. He's very inexperienced. But Connor Prelip was a guy that was in contention to go number 1 overall this year. And they got two guys that could have went number 1 overall on day one with 2 picks. Not 2 picks in the first round, their first round and their second round pick. I thought Connor Prelip might go to the Twins at number 8, not 40 picks later. I think that this is an awesome pick. Let's head one spot before him, where with the 47th pick, the Chicago Cubs selected Jackson Ferris, left-hander out of IMG Academy in Florida. IMG plays premier competition. That's what they do. They do it in all sports. And this is a guy that was ranked number 19 on MLB.com in a first-rounder for me for sure. Ferris, he does have a pretty weird delivery, but can throw gas, 92 to 97, has a good slider, and a good changeup, which I'm pretty sure is his premier pitch. And I really think that Jackson Ferris is a really good pick here. He should have went in the first round. And like I said, IMG plays really good competition as well. And I like that too. I think if there's an idea of polished as a high school arm, Jackson Ferris would be that guy. Next up, let's head to later in the second round, where with the 67th overall pick, or 63rd, excuse me, the Milwaukee Brewers selected Jacob Zorowski out of Crowder Junior College in Missouri. And I really like this pick. He spent 2 years in junior college, and Zorowski throws gas. He throws 100 miles per hour, and he throws 100 miles per hour on his fastball multiple times at the combine, along with a repeatable good delivery, and threw some of the fastest sliders at the combine as well. Showed good control for those pitches, but may need to add a third pitch to be more successful at the next level. Also has one of the best spin rates for his pitches in the draft, which, of course, the Brewers develop pitchers really, really well. And I think that this pick is exceptional. I think it's a really good pick, and I think it's something that's going to be a really good pick for the Brewers. I think they're going to turn him into a Corbin Burns or Braden Woodruff type player as soon as they add that third pitch, maybe a fourth pitch too. Jacob Zorowski is going to be nasty with the Brewers. Next up, let's head to earlier in the second round, where with the 58th overall pick, the Seattle Mariners select Tyler Locklear, Third baseman out of Virginia Commonwealth University. I really thought that Tyler Locklear had a good year this year. A really good year, to be honest. And Locklear hit 402 with 20 home runs and 78 RBIs this year. He had a great year for Virginia Commonwealth. And even though he's ranked number 98 on MLB.com, I personally have him in the 50s range. I think that this is a good value pick and where he should have went in the draft. I think that Locklear has great bat to ball skills, and I think that he also is a guy that has great power. And I think that he's a guy that's going to be set up to hit 20 or 30 home runs in the major leagues and hit over 300 possibly if he can really develop into his potential. I really like the pick of Tyler Locklear at 58 for Seattle. Next up, let's head to the Diamondbacks. A little earlier in the second round, number 43 overall, they went with Yvonne Melendez, first baseman out of Texas. I think that this is an exceptional pick. I've been a big fan of Yvonne Melendez ever since I started watching his highlights. And sure, he's a four-year senior out of Texas, and it's not his first rodeo of having a really good year. He had a really good year the previous couple years as well. It was just about getting more playing time, and him being ranked number 99 is just disrespectful, simply. I've got him top 50 in my list. Melendez hit 32 home runs, 90 RBIs, a 380 batting average. He was awesome for Texas. And I think that he could have made a push to go in the first round still. And next up, let's head to much later in the draft, where somebody who fell was Tucker Todman. Fell very late to number 77 to the Toronto Blue Jays, where they selected in the second round compensation Tucker Todman, third baseman from Hammond School in South Carolina. I really thought this guy's a first rounder. I think that he's a first round talent for sure. He's one of the best hitters in high school this year and probably the best player out of South Carolina, to be honest. He is a really good player, and I think that he has a lot of potential. I think he's kind of similar to Colson Montgomery of last year's draft. Power really hasn't developed too much yet, but this is going to be a guy that hits for a high average, high on-base percentage, and it's going to develop some power there. And, yeah, I don't know if he's going to college or whatever made him fall, but I think that Tucker Todman's a really good pick here. Next up, let's go and head to the worst picks. I don't like to rub it in to many fans multiple times, but I do have to rub this one in at number 30 or number 29 overall. The Tampa Bay Rays select Xavier Isaac, the first baseman from East Forsyth High School in North Carolina. And as you saw with my last video, should be my last video, this is a guy that's a reach. He's 113. I didn't even have him on the map as a guy that was going to go in probably the first 3 rounds, to be honest. And he went in the first round. Now, I understand that the power's intriguing there, but there's nothing that much more that's that intriguing to me. I mean, he's a power hitter. That's going to be it. He's not a first-round talent. It's pretty simple. Let's go ahead to number 7 overall in the draft, where the Cubs selected Cade Horton. I really did not like this pick. Cade Horton doesn't have that great of control. He's inexperienced. He can throw 98 and stuff, but just about anybody really could do that these days. I mean, a lot of people can do that these days. And one decent, I would say, College World Series run got him to number 7 overall. It's ridiculous. This is a ridiculous pick, a ridiculous reach in my opinion. I personally think he's more of a 60 or 70, probably in my rankings he would be. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous pick. Next up is the Boston Red Sox, and unfortunately they're going to have to get their first 2 selections on here. They've had a horrible draft so far. With the 24th selection, they selected Mickey Romero, shortstop out of Orange Lutheran High School in California. I don't know how many middle infield players that the Boston Red Sox want, but apparently they just want a ton. I saw Romero at the draft combine, and he looked like a good fielding shortstop. I'll give him that, but wasn't anything spectacular, and for sure not a first-round talent to me. He was the guy probably in the 60s to 70s range. And he's getting selected in the first round. And especially when you just selected your future shortstop last year in Marcelo Meyer and you have Xander Bogaerts, you have way too many middle infield talents. And Romero is just never going to do much with the Boston Red Sox. Next up is a guy in the second round that I was definitely not expecting, and that is Cutter Koofy. This is really just not a good pick here. Cutter Koofy is coming out of Liberty High School in California. Guess they're really liking these shortstops that are high schoolers this year. But he's 6'2", 190. I mean, I just don't see a fit really for him, and I don't think that it's all about the fit, but it's not a good pick either. I mean, he's in the 100s range for most people. This is just not a good pick. The Red Sox really need to step it up in the draft right now. Next up is going to be Chandler Simpson of the Tampa Bay Rays. They selected him with a 70th overall pick out of Georgia Tech. Played with Kevin Parada, of course. And what I would say for him is he's got a good run tool with an above average on base percentage and batting average, but with little to no power. Could play a lot of different positions in the Rays farm system, including the outfield, possibly could be a center fielder, left field, shortstop, third base, second base. They're going to move him around everywhere just like they do everybody. And I think that Simpson is a decent pick for the Rays. I think that he's going to be that ultra utility guy that they're going to use him as. Is it a great pick? No. Is it probably a bit of a reach? Yes. But I think that he could be a decent leadoff hitter for the Rays. They like the versatility, of course. They have a strange addiction to versatility. But, yeah, he had one home run with 25 RBIs and a .435 batting average. He's going to be a leadoff guy. I mean, he's proven that. And next up, my last guy is going to be Justin Boyd, who was selected – let's see. He was selected in the second round compensation, if I'm not mistaken, out of Oregon State. Compensation round B. He was selected there. And, the approximate pick value is not very big for him. And Justin Boyd, this is a guy that's just he's got a little bit of versatility, can play second, can play right, can play center field. I mean, he hit 9 home runs, 53 RBIs, 373 on batting average, 490 on base percentage, 577 slugging. Kind of similar to the stats that we saw with Aaron Zavala, who did go to the second round with the Rangers last year. But we'll see what happens with these prospects. And like I said, these prospects have chances to get better and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that this just totally means that that they're going to suck their whole career. It doesn't mean that. It's just at the pick, the value of what the players they are right now, they're just not great picks or they're really good picks. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure you drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications. Thank you for watching, and peace.